When you get laid off after 50, everybody suddenly becomes a financial guru. Just start a side hustle. As if there's some magical gig hiding on the internet that's going to replace your corporate income with zero risk, zero effort, and zero downside. Yeah, no. Let me tell you about side hustles after 50. What we've actually tried, what worked, what flopped, and what nobody warned you about before you dive in. Hi, I'm Carrie, and if you're wondering whether a side hustle can really help you survive to forced retirement, grab your coffee because we need to chat. And I'm not talking in hypotheticals today. I'm giving the real hours, real money, and sometimes the real disappointment too. Here's what the internet promises. Start a side hustle, make passive income, be your own boss, work from anywhere. It's real freedom. And sure, some of that can be true, but a lot of it is really pure fantasy. Most side hustles are just trading your time for money again, except now there are no benefits, no job security, and often at a much lower hourly rate. But when you're staring down forced retirement at 54 with bills still coming in, you don't always have the luxury of being picky, right? So yes, Jeff and I have tried some things as side hustles, and some of them worked and some of them didn't. Some of them looked really good on paper, but turned out to be more trouble than they were worth. So let me break down what we actually did, give you the good, the bad, and the why did we think that would work. Let me start off with Jeff, because this actually surprises a lot of people. Jeff writes books and he self-publishes them on Amazon and Kindle. And he has been doing it for a little over a year. He does all the writing, the editing, the formatting, the designing covers, and it takes way more time than any regular job ever did. He's actually published about 30 books in this year, and his monthly income is just under $50 at this point. Is that nothing? No, it covers gas, it helps with groceries, but it's not replacing a paycheck. And broken down hourly, it's really pennies. That said, he does really enjoy it, and it's growing slowly but consistently. So this is not a quick fix, but it does have long-term potential. Jeff has also done licensed private investigator work. The pay per job was actually really good with this one. The problem was that it was completely sporadic. One week would be really busy and the next week there would be just nothing. It was good money when it came in, but you can't build a budget around sporadic work like that. I've also tried a few things myself. I've tried my hand at Amazon affiliate links for starters, and I do earn a small commission when people buy stuff. But here's the catch. You need traffic. A lot of traffic. I have made a little money, emphasis on the word little, way less than Jeff makes on the books. So was it worth it? So far, not really, but maybe someday. It's really competitive. I also taught dance classes, and this one actually worked pretty well. The hourly rate was solid, and I loved it. Honestly, it was the best job I ever had. But the downside, there weren't very many hours. It was great pay per hour, but not enough to live on. Still, it was steady income, and it kept me sane, and it really gave me something to look forward to. I have also done contracting work. This was actually the biggest income stream from a side gig that I've ever done. I was able to use my healthcare background and do contract work that paid really well, close to my corporate income actually. And it did pay really well right up until it didn't. Contracts dried up and 1 month would be steady and the next month you got nothing. And that's the gamble. It was good pay, but no security. I also became a wedding officiant, and I really did it partly to get over my fear of public speaking, and it worked. The pay was decent. I made a couple $100 per ceremony, and the work was actually meaningful. But again, it was occasional. The money was really helpful, but not reliable. And then, of course, there's this, YouTube. Nope, haven't made a cent. But it could in the future. Who knows? Most channels never get monetized, but the ones that do can legitimately make a few $100 a month. I'm told that it typically takes months or even years to get there, though. So yes, some of these made money, but here's what people don't tell you. Self-employment taxes are a real thing, especially here in the United States. You pay both sides of the payroll tax. That's about 15% before income tax. So that $200 gig, that's now closer to $150 after self-employment and income tax both. And then there's the paperwork and the accounting. You got to track your mileage, your expenses, your receipts, your hours. Whether you do it yourself or you pay someone, your real hourly wage keeps dropping. And then there's the fact that there are no benefits. There's no health insurance, there's no PTO, there's no retirement match. And when I taught dance class, I actually had to buy liability insurance, and that cut into the pay too. So there definitely can be hidden costs. Some side hustles can cost more money than they make. Rideshare and delivery work, in some locations, you really can make decent money. But you got to be sure that you factor in gas and maintenance and insurance and wear and tear. In some situations, you could end up making less than minimum wage. Online gigs like Fiverr or freelance writing, oftentimes that's hours of work for 20 to 50 bucks. And MLMs, if it requires buying inventory or recruiting people run, that's not a side hustle, that's a trap. Same with fads. A friend of mine spent thousands on freeze-dried candy equipment, and then by the time she launched, the market was completely flooded. 2 years later, she hasn't even broken even. So if it's blowing up everywhere on the internet and requires a big upfront cost, you're probably too late. But really, none of this means don't try. It just means pay attention to the costs. So do I think a side hustle is worth it? Honestly, it depends. If you're expecting it to replace a full-time income overnight, then no, that's not realistic. But if you're trying to cover groceries or gas or a utility bill, it really can help. And there is definitely one real upside that deserves credit. With most side hustles, you control your schedule. You decide when you work, how you work, and when you don't. There's no boss checking the clock and no performance reviews. And if you need a day off, you take it. Mornings work better than evenings, you work mornings. That flexibility really is worth something, especially after decades of rigid corporate jobs. But that freedom isn't going to cancel out the math, so you still have to ask yourself, how much time will this really take? What are the hidden costs? Is the income consistent? And what's my true hourly wage? Most side hustles are still just another job, and burnout comes pretty fast if the numbers don't work. So if you're going to do this, here's my advice. First, use skills you already have. After 50, your advantages are experience, reliability, and trust. Use them. Consulting, tutoring, contracting, even virtually, they'll ramp up a lot faster when you already know the work. Number 2, avoid high upfront costs. If you have to spend big money to earn your first dollar, you should probably walk away. 3, track everything. If you don't track it, you don't know if it's really working. 4, be honest about the hourly pay. 10 hours for $50 is $5 an hour, and decide if that's worth it to you. And 5, don't burn yourself out. If it's draining you and barely paying, it's okay to quit. Your time matters too. The truth is that side hustles won't save you, but they can buy you time. Drop a comment below. What's the worst side hustle advice you've ever gotten? And if these real talk conversations help, subscribe and turn on the notifications now. Thanks for being here. You've got this, even when it doesn't feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Take care.